Especially the camera work, and especially the editing. And the sound effects. It's a beautiful shot that goes across the rafters, and as it passes the two rafters, for no reason whatsoever, it makes a noise. So it goes across these rafters, and it goes wah, wah, wah. It's absurd. It's a sound. It's making the sound of a camera passing an object. I rushed out to buy it and was confronted by this old guy called Irving Shapiro.
He had been in film distribution since the 1920s. Among the films he distributed over here were Nanook of the North and The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
He had actually sold Battleship Potemkin in the 30s. This guy was a really old guy.
And he looked at their picture and said, "You know, boys, it isn't Gone with the Wind, but I think I can make you a little money." The first thing he had them do was to change the title from Book of the Dead to The Evil Dead.
And he was quite taken by my knowledge of cinema, my knowledge of films, and the fact that I was respecting The Evil Dead as a piece of filmmaking and not as a piece of schlock. He named a price, and I went to Nick and said, "Okay, I want us to buy this horror film, The Evil Dead." Nick went to see it and was duly horrified.
It made me jump, it made me laugh. It frightened me insofar as a 30-year-old adult can be frightened by a film. You know, up with Chainsaw Massacre, but had a sense of humour and had great camera work. I mean, it was great, and you met the director who was like 3 years old and was a wonderkind of this, that and the other sort, who was Sam Raimi.
And I was very young when I started that company. I started Palace, I was 24 or something, 25. And this guy was younger than me. I heard of that there was to be somebody younger than me making a film which I thought was made in such a professional way. I think he was 22 or 23. And he called me sir, which was kind of slightly irritating as well. I have to say, you know, I don't like being called sir, but he insisted on calling me sir, and insisted on being incredibly polite, not sweary, show-offy. You know, you'd have expected some video buck to have made the film with full of confidence and vigour and aggression, and not at all. Sam was very sweet in a kind of disarming manner. I mean, you really could take him home to your mother. I mean, he was the loveliest man.
And when we met Sam Raimi, the director, and Bob Tappert, the producer, you know, we realised also we had in them people who would be great to promote this film.
The other most influential person in getting Evil Dead known was, in fact, Stephen King. King met Sam, at first thinking he was a busboy, and then saw the film, and King says it blew him out of the back of the theater.
We had a very specific idea about the kind of campaign we had. I used a guy Graham, never done a campaign in his life for horror film, sent me some things just as a, you know, off the top. I'm at art school, here are some drawings. And he did some drawings of old horror movies that were done in a particular style. And it was a terrific poster, and Graham's first poster, and this kid has never done a poster in his life. That was the kind of decision we were making on The Evil Dead. It wasn't just the film itself, it wasn't us cashing in on a movie that we could do a few videos on. It actually established what Palace became. Then we did something really audacious. We released the film theatrically, in cinemas, and on video at the same time. This was unheard of.
I think the first and indeed the last time this has ever been done. And we were a bit naughty because we didn't really tell either side that we were doing that.
The rank circuit, who realised we got away with this trick, went completely balmy, went completely nuts. We figured that at that point, the cinema audience and the video audience were so different and separate that we could hit both at the same time.
Evil Dead was massive on video. It was the biggest renting video according to some of the magazines that particular year.
It was the biggest video hit of its time, of its year. I think it sold 50,000 copies in 1 year, which it sell-through, which was, I think, between 40 and 50 pounds at the time.
And the theatrical was also successful, but not to the same extent, but still, for a horror movie, an independent horror movie that cost, you know, 10 cents, it was a massive success.
Evil Dead became a landmark film in terms of people realising that video was here to stay and was a big deal. It became a landmark film for censorship, because as well as being an incredibly successful film, it became a very controversial film.
The first thing I recall hearing was various shops calling up our people and reporting that they had received notices of one sort or another from the public prosecutor's office.
And certainly a lot of dealers and wholesalers were being raided. It appeared on the list with another 10 video nasties, and we got swooped up with a bunch of other video nasties, including titles like The Burning, Driller Killer, SS Gestapo. I mean, titles that were pretty much more out there than Evil Dead was.
Unlike some of the other movies that have been labelled video nasties, you know, this was clearly a fantasy film. You know, the undead and weird-looking incarnations, and therefore, in a way, not nasty. But I've never been a believer in censorship for anybody who is of age.
I'm not very pro-censorship.
After we lost some of the early cases in small villages because we just weren't able to respond to them quick enough, put our defence together and get out there.
Nick really put himself on the line by testifying for the film.
We went to this strange